morning. Good morning. Good morning. I just have like 2 little pieces of my frosted mini wheats that have some good sugar on them, so I'm going to get that. Yay. Good morning. Hey. Excuse me. Talking with my mouth full. We got Kaylin, Blonde Cheryl. I saw Kara and Laura Gibbon-Bow, German Maid. Starting to recognize these names, people. Laura says, you helped me haul me out of bed. Right back at you, lady. I was in bed not, 15 minutes ago. And the cool thing is, it is so nice to see the sunshine. German Maid, we were eating some frosted mini wheats. I went old school kid food when my husband was gone. Good morning, Judy. Coffee and calm. Look at that. No longer chaotic. How fun. How fun is that? Yes, coffee and calm. So, yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Cliff died. Kara. Guess I'll get up. I got lots to. Oh, Jimmy Cliff died. Oh, life. It's Cliff died. Kara. Guess I'll get up. I got lots to. Oh, Jimmy Cliff died. Oh, life. It's bigger than you and me. Of what the time we have, Yeah, I will share with y'all. I purposely, there we go. I love it. Destination remodel, son's former room. I love that. It's former room. Room, frames, and trim painted. That's amazing. Hubs has a new floor about 3/4 of the way. Awesome. I will share with you. I felt very weird. I almost did a pop-up or two this weekend for Destination Decluttered because I had a lot more free time on my hand than I initially expected. And the cool thing was, hey, Ellen, I see you. I hope you have a good day as well. I got so much decluttering done this weekend, you guys. I will just share. Now, I know that I am Beth, the Decluttering Life Coach, Destination Decluttered. But man, are the recycle bin weighs like 1,000,000 pounds because man, does paper add up. Now, I did not realize how much paper I was lugging around with me because it was in different totes and everything. And did I feel like I was walking down memory lane? Oh, hell yeah. I actually even had, it was like an archive. I can't wait to show my husband that it was like I had some things that were so old. How old were they? That they were printed out on that thermal fax paper. Very funny. So I am feeling really good about the decluttering I did. I did my decluttering of the sentimental, the photographs and papers, and while I am not done, man, did I have bags and bags. I also donated and let go of a few framed prints that I'm just not hanging around, and another few things. So yay, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I am. Thank you. Thank you, Laura Gibbon-Voorhees. I am rocking it, and I will share with you. I felt as I was doing this, you know what? I actually made some notes. I felt like I was kind of watching what I was doing so I could help you guys. And one of the things I was thinking of was I kind of did a brain dump. I woke up early yesterday and kind of almost went, not necessarily year by year in my life because that would take a while, but I wrote down some of the memories that some of the things would remind me of, and so I could keep the words. But one of the things I wrote down is, kind of that the paper clutter, paper that we save for is proof. This is what I like to say. Paper is proof of something. And so I thought to myself, okay, if that's my theory, that we save paper to prove something to somebody, what is it that I am, like proof? Like I helped create this. I make cool stuff happen. People think what I have is cool, articles that I published. Now, I had a bunch of magazines that had multiple copies and the entire magazine. Did I need to keep that? No, I kept the cover and the article that I wrote, and it proved to me I can write. I can write things people are interested in. I write well enough that people think it's good enough to print in full color in their magazine. So notice the stories you're telling. And honestly, sometimes the audience for your sentimental clutter is other people, but it's also you, Yeah. And Laura's saying, I really tried not to let the house devolve as I painted. I have been sick. I'm giving myself grace. Please do. You cannot do more than one thing at the same time. And man, if I could show you the picture, because this is what I was doing. I was sitting on the floor literally with like totes open and around me and piles around me. I tend to do my decluttering like that on the floor, very organic. And did it look like a hot mess at a certain point? Yes, it did. Does it look better now? It sure does. But I didn't do the both and. I did let it be a mess for a while in process. So don't beat yourself up about it. You'll get to it. And this is, where did I put it? Oh, right. Be the queen of no big deal. Now, yay, Leslie. Feels good to be back home from the cruise and a conference. Travel is great, but so is home. Now, I will share with you, I love that theory, or I love that sentiment, because my husband, after almost 2 months on tour, is coming home, baby. As I say, cue the Mel Torme. He's coming home, baby, tomorrow, and I cannot wait. Yeah. No, there we go. Up North Amy says, I'm getting better. At least now most of the paper clutter is in one of two places. Well, that's cool. Yeah, and you know what? Does it have to be filed? I seriously think, honestly, because I'll share this with you. And again, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching here on TikTok is called Destination Decluttered. And I did a wicked lot of decluttering of my own sentimental stuff. Some stuff that was like 40 plus years old. Pieces of paper that I've hung around, hanging onto, and then some of it I kept. Some of it I let go. And one of the things I realized, I was going in the hall closet for something. It was like, I have a box of, office supplies in there. And on top of it was an accordion file with a handle on it. And I was like, oh, isn't that interesting? That is actually last year's paperwork. I tend to have like a 2-file system. And I keep the stuff for a year in case I need it. I forgot it was even there. So I will share with you. Sometimes a file can be something as simple as a box that says my 2025 paperwork. It doesn't have to be more detailed than that. I'm just saying. It can be very simple. Please, do not overcomplicate your decluttering. It will just drive you crazy that you haven't done it. Start simple. Make big piles. And then if you want to make them into smaller piles, you can. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't have to. So make it simple. That's why I'm here. Hey, there we go. Blonde Cheryl says, found the top of my kitchen table. You know where it was? It was on the base of your kitchen table. And decorated it for Christmas. Awesome. Thanks for the encouragement. Yeah, last week when we were doing our TikTok lives and our YouTube lives, and oh, by the way, I haven't been on my computer much this. Let me turn it on. Look at my calendar. As I warm this up, as a reminder, this morning is a declutter party. This morning at 9 a.m. is a declutter party for anybody who wants to join. The tickets are still available. And so I just wanted to offer that is still available if you want to sign up. But last week we were talking a lot about decluttering and just starting small and starting, let's say, even just with our kitchen tables. Now, I was just at my kitchen table eating my cereal until I ran in here to join you guys. So my kitchen table is pretty clean. I know exactly what's supposed to be on there, and I could describe it to you, and exactly anything else other than my salt and pepper and my little ceramic canoe that has my napkins in it. Other than that, nothing else belongs on the kitchen table. Can you say the same for yours? Do you want to start with your kitchen table? Kitchen table is a surface. We do surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental, 3 layers. And last week we were talking about just that, getting started can be difficult. But yay, I am so glad Blonde Cheryl got some encouragement from what we did and found the top of her kitchen table and decorated it for Christmas. Now, will I decorate mine for Christmas? No. But that's okay. She does for hers. You do you. And so I offer you today as just something to maybe think about, or as you are listening to me. You don't need to necessarily be looking at the screen when I am doing this TikTok live. And I will be doing this TikTok live for another 45 minutes or so. Okay? And you don't need to look at the screen. I tend to, because I know that people are what I call puttering and decluttering, walking around doing some stuff. Some people do that. So I tend to read the comments that I'm answering so that you can hear what's going on. Also, the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives are, they are recorded. And so we will, they are on the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel doesn't do the comments. So I like to do that. 902 videos, people. Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so let me help you with this. So first, Cat Mama says, went through more Christmas decos, keeping faves like you suggested, some to Goodwill and some to Niece. Notice what you did, Cat Mama. Categories of things you want to keep and things that you're okay with letting go. And even as you're letting them go, some are going to the Niece, some are going to the Goodwill. Wonderful. Alrighty, so Jess Bergman, let me help you with this, okay? So Jess is saying, for those of you not looking in the cat, my clutter is clothes/laundry. Totally get it, totally common. So overwhelming for me. Okay, so this, Jess, I will give you kind of my 4-step process that I pretty much use. It's like a recipe almost for decluttering that works for everything. But then we'll tailor it to clothing, okay? So first of all, you have said the word that grabs everybody all the time, which is kind of overwhelm. It is overwhelming to me. So 2 things to think about is overwhelm is a feeling that you feel that kind of makes you kind of pull back and sit down and go ugh and not want to get up and do anything. It's kind of like the opposite of getting up and doing something is ugh. And it's usually because of the concept of too much. Now, the concept of too much, not just right, kind of think of, what's her name? Goldilocks, not enough, too much, not enough, too much, and just right. So think about that. One of the reasons you may be feeling an overwhelm is because of the quantity of clothing and laundry that needs to be processed. And laundry is a process. Okay. And let me just give a shout out here. Kara said 85th birthday party for my dad yesterday because my house is decluttered 15 minutes and clean up and we're party ready. Aw, that's after 2 years of work and listening to Beth. Awesome, friend. Isn't it great that quickness that you can say, yeah, sure, let's have people over, versus overwhelm and freaking out oh my God, I wish we had some, more time to hide this stuff before people come over. Yay for you. Good stuff. I just wanted to point that out, but let's get back to Jess and the clothing overwhelm. So just to think about that feeling of overwhelm and to kind of learn how to process that feeling of overwhelm, which is what I call kind of calming down the nervous system. And so on any given day, every day, you should always be checking in with your physical body. Because if your physical body isn't feeling good, everything else is not going to be so great. So if you can do something to make yourself feel better physically, figure out what it is and do it. So for example, kind of, as I like to say, step 1 to me on a daily recipe is always from the crown on down to kind of do a scan and see, how are you feeling? Now you can see when I was doing my scan right there, I realized that my panties were literally in a bunch, so I went and changed it. Feeling better physically is a good place to start. Right there, though, in your physical body is your nervous system. Your nervous system is the part of you that feels the feels. And I just share with you, the overwhelm tends to be when you're looking at stuff. Like I've got a lamp above me and being like, oh my gosh, there's so much. Oh my gosh, there's so much. And this is where I want to say the opposites. I feel like I'm on like Electric Company or Sesame Street. The opposites is going to be your friend. Because if looking up like this makes you feel overwhelmed, try the opposite. Look down and put your hands down. If it makes you breathe shallow, you breathe deep. And this is where I like to say to calm down the overwhelm is to use the word down as like a reminder word. To sit down, to breathe down, to calm down, shoulders down, slow down, quiet down. Quiet down the voice, even just turning down the volume. When you don't you wish you could do that to the people in the car with you? Like little kids in the back seat, just turn the volume down. Like they could still keep on talking to themselves, but just turn the volume down. Quieting down your nervous system and getting out of overwhelm allows you to shift gears. It's almost like, and I use the road trip analogy quite often. So I think of like you're getting out of your mind racing and you're slowing down, and then you can get into park or into neutral to then shift gears to do something. Okay. So I think it's really important, especially now on a Monday morning, and I haven't done some TikTok lives for a while, to remind everybody of scanning down your physical body. Number 2 is calming down your nervous system. Numbers 3 and 4 are going to be writing down and then chunking down. Now, writing down is usually if your decluttering is a little bit more advanced. I have to declutter this room. But you don't probably need to write down things to do laundry. But I want you to suggest to you to do this anyway, just to learn this skill. Because this is a skill you probably weren't taught in school. And it just always, my mind always goes back to elementary school. Anytime we were learning something, it was always, get out your notebook or whatever and a pen and use, do your work on paper before you try to do, as I like to say, like your times tables in your head. So the reason I say this is because laundry, clothing, is a cycle that pretty much kind of never ends in your house. Because the only time something ends is when you let it go. You throw it away, you donate it. But certain things like dishes, like laundry, stuff like that there. Okay. So the thing is, Jess, the thing that I found, and I will share this with you. So I remember once coaching somebody with ADHD. And now I work with ADHD people a lot. I have it in my family. Heck knows, I probably have it myself. And I want to suggest to you this. We can be frustrated with that thought of, oh my gosh, the laundry never gets done. Grocery shopping, I guess, is another one too. The things that kind of never get done. Okay. So Jess, you're in good company. Okay. I've got your back. All right. Instead of causing yourself the overwhelm of, oh my God, this is never done. Because the answer is, you're right. It isn't. Is making peace with it. And when you make peace with it, you go from kind of the drama queen in the backseat of the car. Oh my gosh, this is never done. I'm always doing laundry. It's never done. And not blah, blah, blah. And we turn into kind of like the queen of no big deal. Like, no big deal. I can do this. But the thing that I will offer to you is, yes, all right, Mama Chady, I bet you're going to pick up some stuff too. Because this is what the people I've worked with, including myself, you look at something too big and you know you should do it, but you feel, ugh, I don't want to, and overwhelmed, so you don't do it. Now, that's because you tend to be looking at the big picture. This is where that third and fourth thing of writing down and chunking down is going to really help you, okay? So, chunking down. What does chunking down means? It means categorize. It means put things into smaller piles, okay? So, laundry. It can be your laundry. It can be your husband's laundry. It can be your kid's laundry. And then it can be kid 1, kid 2, kid 3. Or it can be dark loads and it can be colors, and then it could be lights, and then it could be, no, maybe I want to have delicates, and then, things like that. Chunking it down and doing a little bit at a time. And this is, I think, what happens to a lot of us, and I know this because I used to do this, is waiting until the pile gets so big and then feeling like you need to do piles and piles of laundry. Okay? So the concept of chunking it down not only gets you out of overwhelm, it helps you get started, right? So like, does that help at all, Jess? I know I'm talking in very general terms about laundry in general. I hope that helps. But I would love to hear from you exactly like where you're stuck, like where in the process. Because here's, as I mentioned, writing down and chunking down, the process of laundry is going to be, it starts with wearing the clothes. Technically, I guess it starts with taking off your clothes after you've worn them and putting them somewhere. So where do I put my dirty clothes? Then how do I get my dirty clothes from where I put my dirty clothes to where I wash them? And then what do I do? Do I have a good way of reminding, of doing it so that, and this tends to jam me up so much so, seriously, we just got a new washer and dryer, and they have a cycle that basically they created a cycle on the washing machine to keep it going if you forget to take the wash out of the washing machine and put it in the dryer, and then you have to do it all over again. Okay? Yeah. So, yes, exactly. Breaking down the tasks to make them more manageable, because you get out of, I can't do all that, but you're like, well, I could do just this. Now, Becca says, I try to do a laundry of day to keep the laundry monster away. Yeah, so that may be it. One of the things that can be very helpful, and Mama Shady is saying, I've started to use a very small laundry basket. This is what I think is the chef's kiss. I have not achieved this yet because I tend to put our dirty laundry in one of two little like hampers, but I couldn't get the size I wanted. But I know that when the hamper, it's a visual clue, that when the hamper gets to about 2/3 of the way full, that is a nice amount of laundry that will fill the washing machine. So when I see that the laundry in one of those two, what do you call them? Hampers is at that level, it's a visual reminder for me to do a thing, to either do the laundry or write down to do the laundry if I happen to see it, but I'm busy doing something else. Okay? So depending upon how much laundry is generated in your house per day, there we go. Yeah, Becca says, my hamper has 2 baskets, so I separate lights and darks. That's us too. Easy and then ready to start the load. Yeah, so even before. So notice this is a process. And what I will offer to everybody here is you have a decluttering process. But it's not giving you the result you want. Now, to me, the result you want, visual checklists, totally helpful too. That's right, I have to buy this stuff. I write down lists all the time. Again, notice, visual checklists, the writing down, the calming down of the nervous system and the writing down of what you need to do, and then getting up and doing it when it makes sense. You have a method that you do to keep your house looking the way it does. And this is not judgment. I do not judge here, but I am offering to you to just pull back, get the emotion out of it, and not get so judgy, but just get curious. Because what I can pretty much tell is you have a system. You have an order of doing things and a frequency with doing things, and it's not giving you what you want if you want your house to be less cluttered. And so we can adjust things, okay? We can adjust how often you do things. I walk you through the process to see where we could do something better that will have a positive ripple effect down the road. I haven't always been this way. No. I used to let the laundry pile up in the corner, or just let it, be on the floor and kick it as I was getting out of bed. And then I would pick it up and then I would bring it in and all this. But man, did I find that some of these little changes that I suggest to you and I've adopted in my own life, there's no more laundry on the floor at all. It's just, it doesn't happen. My husband and I, we have trained ourselves that when we put, or maybe if I take off my socks before I go to bed, they'll be there for 12 hours. And then when I get up in the morning, I'll inevitably, pick them up and put them, in the hamper that is in the bathroom. So what I say to you is just note this about yourself. You have a way of doing things. And the way you do things is a habit. And a habit can be changed. And you may have learned this yourself. Somebody may have taught you this, whatever. But I will say, if what you're doing, if the actions, if the steps you're taking isn't getting you, and this is why I'm pointing to my little road trip thing above my head here, if what you're doing is not getting you to where your house is looking and feeling and functioning like you want it to, let's change the process. I love this. I think it's so interesting, and it's like a puzzle. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, Moon Palace, thank you for the thumbs up. Moon Palace is saying, I have ADHD and issues with executive functioning skills, and this is solid advice. Yeah, and seriously, and this is going to really help too, because I know with the ADHD people in my life, including myself, you can be hypersensitive to things. Do not take this personally. No, it's just laundry. Kind of getting out of the drama queen, oh my God, the drama. Don't take it personally. You just have some steps that could be improved in a process to get it so that your laundry is a little bit easier. Yeah. Now I love this. Laura Gibbon Voorhees, this is another good one, so thank you for sharing with them too, and I'll read it. It says, I helped reduce clothes on the floor by designating a basket for housework clothes I can wear again. I do the same thing, but I don't keep it in a basket. What I've done, and actually you can see it right here, if I scroll my phone over, this is the back of the door to this room. And every single door in our house that opens up into a room, so it has like a back of a door, has a multi-hook thing on it. Every single one of them. Yep. And that is because we all know that just because you wore it doesn't mean it has to go in the laundry. There's a couple of times you can wear something 3, 4, 5 times. So having a place to put your kind of no man's land, your kind of, middle ground clothing so you can wear it again can keep it off the floor. So walking through your process step by step can help find out, almost like looking at what do you call that thing? Like a conveyor belt, like a automated, like Henry Ford Model T kind of factory. Yeah. Creating systems that work for you will set you up for success. And what I will say to you is this: if what people have told you to do isn't working for you, that's okay. We can break it apart and we can create something better. We can look at each step. Does that step work? Cool. What's the next step? Is there a way we could do it better? And always keeping better in mind. And what is your definition of better? Like my definition of better for laundry, this is just me. Yeah, and if something stays in the basket too long, it gets graduated to laundry, of course, yeah. Better to me is, and I will give you this recipe so you can think of it yourself. Anytime you are doing, this is another thing too, when you're writing down, when you're doing this, and please feel free to take notes on what I'm saying, because seriously, there's some good stuff here. So what I would say is, so if you were going to write stuff down now, get a piece of paper and write kind of like step 1 from the crown on down. Just write that. Do a body scan. Make sure you're feeling good. This throughout the day. The second one is going to be calming down your nervous system. Okay. And the third one will be writing down and then chunking down. So when you're writing down, you can write down one of the best things to do to start with, and this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. First of all, because I tend to travel a lot. But second of all, when you know what you're aiming for. Now, see over here, like behind me, we've got like a little road trip where you're starting here and there's a little car chugging along and it's heading towards this heart. The heart is your destination, okay? This is the recipe for a destination, okay? I'll give it to you. And it's like playing Mad Libs. If any of you were Gen Xers, remember Mad Libs? You know, I want my house to look adjective, adjective, adjective. I want my noun to verb, adjective, you know, that type of thing. But we'll keep it simple because there's 3 components. Because much like Mad Libs makes me think of being a Gen Xer, so does 3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number. So 3 is a magic number, okay? Number 1 is I want my home to look, fill in the blank. Adjective, adjective, adjective. Even just writing down that. Now, here's where laundry comes in. I want my home to function, and I'll just give you the answer for this easily, okay? This to me is every definition should include the concept of easy. How to do something and make it easy. And I'll break that down for you into 3 more things. I want my home to function easily. I want to easily be able to find what I'm looking for, easily be able to use it, and easily be able to put it away. Easy, 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 lemon squeezy, 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 okay? So I want it to look good, function easily, and when it looks good and functions easily, I want to feel adjective, adjective, adjective when I'm walking around my house. You write that down, and now you have something to aim for, okay? I want my laundry to look, I don't want my laundry to be on the floor. I want my laundry to be in either on my body or in a hamper or in a washer or in a dryer or folded and put away, you know? Okay, yeah, there we go. So notice that everything in your house is a process. It is. There's an order in which you do things that you go through those steps to get to your destination of being done with it, whatever it is, you know, doing the dishes. And you may have made this up on your own. You may not have been taught a good way. If anything, you may have picked up in a lot of bad habits, a lot of ways that it's not helpful to do things. I grew up in a cluttered home. I grew up with pack rat type people who like to save things. And I grew up with ADHD in my family, though nobody knew it at the time, please. And so I learned a lot of avoid, 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 and get dramatic, 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 and then finally do the big thing, and then be like, now I'm done. And you think that's like, oh, good, now I never have to do laundry again? No. Yeah. Now, Abbott Elementary sounds like she's doing the laundry thing in the bedroom. Yeah. So even noticing where you do the laundry stuff. Yeah. It is a process problem. Okay, Abbott Elementary, I can help you with that. Yeah. So think about this. Your clothing, where do you tend to get undressed to get into your pajamas, for example? This is what I think. I tend to take off my clothes for the day and get into pajamas. And I tend to do that in the bathroom because that's also where I'm washing my face and brushing my teeth. And so that's where we also have the space to have our 2 laundry hampers. I don't know why I'm jamming up on that word. The 2 hampers can easily go in that closet. So that I also have hooks in there to hang, you know, like my hoodie. I'm wearing a black hoodie all the time. So I hang that stuff there. Or my yoga pants. Things like that. And then that's when I can notice, oh, okay, yeah, that hamper is getting kind of full. I should probably do some laundry. So then I do it when it's maybe just 1 load. And I make sure I time when I do the laundry so I have enough time to get it out of the washer and into the dryer. Now, if it stays in the dryer for a while and I just have to fluff it, no big deal, okay? But notice there is a process when and this is the thing about the ADHD brain, okay, is everybody's wired differently. everybody. So it isn't even the ADHD brain. Let's just say everybody's wired differently. And so you will have different ways of approaching these things. Okay? But what tends to happen is a lot of us, our brains move really fast, and we get to the end and we're like, that's not going to work out, whatever. And then you get frustrated and abandoned. But slowing down, notice what I'm doing. I'm slowing down and we're documenting the process. Now, this is something I did for a job for a number of years. I was a process coordinator, actually weird. They called me a process engineer, which was ludicrous. I mean, it does speak to my strengths, but man, I'm not an engineer. Choo choo Charlie was an engineer. What I will say is this: everything goes in certain steps in order. Put one foot in front of the other. We all do things in certain steps. Are the steps you taking leading you towards what you want to get, or is it making it more difficult? Now, if it's making it more difficult, that's okay, because you know what? I'm here to help you. You now know somebody who is there on your side. I'm going to help you with this. So slowing down and writing down what your process is, and even when you write it in the comments, is part of you kind of getting away from it, being, oh, this is what I do, you know? So when you notice what you do, you can change it if you don't like it. And this is why I am a decluttering life coach, because it's not just about, God, I saw a thing last night on TikTok. I scroll on TikTok like everybody else does, the cool people anyway. And I saw this woman's closet that had so many kind of perfectly folded t-shirts, literal hundreds of them, I'm sure. And it looked good, but man, I'm not doing that. I will do mine good enough, but I don't need the quantity. So everybody's going to be different. But make sure what you're doing works for you. That worked for her. Her closet looking like Marie Kondo. You go for it. I was like, oh my God, I bet she has people that she pays to do that. You know, I will say that's okay for her. I'm trying not to judge. Oh, what a good idea. Now, Kara, so notice, Kara is noticing that for her laundry, she says, I use IKEA blue totes. You know, the big blue IKEA bags. My bedroom is in a loft, so I can drop them over the railing. Adaptation is good. What a great idea. Yeah, I know. We used to have, when we moved into this house 20 years ago, my God, we used to have a hamper on wheels from our other house, and it had 3 sections. So it was easy, because the way this house is that the washer and dryer are everything's on one level because it's a ranch. And so I was able to kind of wheel it out. And then I realized when that one broke that if I got a hamper that had handles on it, I could easily move it. So sometimes it's down to some of these little things, and the details make the difference. You know, there's that phrase that says the devil is in the details. No, if I was ever going to make a fridge magnet or something like that, one of the fridge magnet sayings would be, the delight is in the details. Because when you can make it, and so when you can make it good in the small, all the small things add up to something good. Okay? So we were talking about laundry and the overwhelm. Now, the overwhelm of laundry, this is what I have found, may happen in a few key areas of laundry. One is, if you don't launder frequently, then you may let the laundry pile up, and then you're spending all day doing nothing but laundry. And what I like to do is I have found it a lot more manageable, and I would much rather spend my days not just doing laundry, but I will do a little bit at a time. Now, I'm not saying like a sock here and a sock there, but I will do laundry when it gets to be about the right level, that the amount of dirty laundry I have is enough for one load of laundry. Then I go do that. And I put it in the washing machine. I put it in the dryer. And then I fold it. And then I bring it back to where the folded laundry goes, or at the hanging laundry. Right there. where you put your clean clothes, okay? Jennifer, we got 20 minutes here. Nothing wrong with that. Where was I? Oftentimes, the clutter, the decluttering is jammed up. The decluttering is something that needs to happen because when you do your laundry, do you have a place to easily put it away? Is it easy for you to put away your clean clothes in your bureau or your dresser or your closet or wherever you put your clean clothes? Now, if not, that is a decluttering thing. I say problem, but actually I say problem because if you got a problem, you'll all solve it. Like problems are like math problems have solutions. I used to kind of shy away from using the word problem, but I like it because if there's a problem, we can create a solution for it. So I say to you is after you've done your clean laundry, now imagine this in your own life, okay? Let's say we're talking about stuff that goes into, and this is what I would call, in the 3 is a magic number, 3 layers of clutter. Where there's surface clutter, which is typically when your clothing is hanging out on surfaces. Then you've got stored clutter. Now, stored clutter would be either like temporarily when your laundry is clean, you store it. And it's usually, and this is how I like to remember stored clutter, because there's kind of a rhyme behind doors or in drawers. So think about that. Clean clothes usually go into a bureau or dresser, as people also call them, and a closet or a chifforobe or that type of thing. Notice if you are having difficulty putting away your clean clothes, that means that you probably have too many clothes, not to own, but just temporarily stored where your clean clothes should be, okay? And notice this too. Notice the way my hands are kind of moving, almost like they were saying it's a cycle, because your clothing can be a cycle too. Depending upon where you live in the country, you may have seasons. So you may notice that you have your t-shirt, your short sleeve t-shirt season and your long sleeve t-shirt season. That's us here in Pennsylvania. You may have your winter clothes and your summer clothes. And sometimes when you are between seasons, you may not have room for all of those at the same place. Yeah, so Danielle says, yes, I packed summer away. I did that too. At the bottom of this closet right here, I have 2 clear containers with my more summer clothes. Okay? So I say, by doing that, I have now created more space for my colder weather clothes. But I also have gone through and I've decluttered. Now, decluttering, as I like to say, is decision making. Okay? Decluttering is decision making. Yeah, see, Abbott Elementary, had we not go through those steps? She says, light bulb moment, drawers are too jammed. Yeah, so notice when I talked earlier about the destination, you want to easily be able to wear it, easily be able to use it, and easily be able to put it away. I feel like I'm giving you the finger, but I'm not. So think about that. I can't easily put away my clothes because I have too many that are being stored that I'm not wearing. All right, now Melly is saying my summer clothes are in a pile waiting to be washed. Okay, how about this? Go put them in the washing machine right now. It's never easy. It is easy though, Jess. The way you're currently doing it isn't easy, but I'm here to make it easier for you. Now, Daiguchi is lucky enough. You live in a tropical island, no winter or summer clothes. Awesome. When you realize your process is kind of wonky, it can feel not easy. But what I will offer to you is, I'm here to make it easier. I'm here to help you make it easier. When you look at what you have stored in your bureau. So for example, I'm going to pretend it's Abbott Elementary who just had a light bulb moment. Oh, that's why. This is where, again, the calming down, the slowing down, the quieting down, and then getting out of judgment and saying, oh my gosh, I have so much, I have too many t-shirts and it's not, shh. Quiet that voice down. When you quiet down the judgment, I want you to turn up the curiosity. All right, what do we have going on here? Why can't I easily put my sweatshirts in this drawer that I want to put them in? Okay, so I open up the drawer, I open up the unit of storage, and then I see what I have. Okay, maybe sometimes I need to take stuff just out of that one drawer, not the whole thing. Do not ever empty out everything. That can lead to another overwhelm. You take what's out of the drawer and you notice what you have. And this is where the true definition in my mind of decluttering comes in, which is deciding whether you want to keep something or not, deciding if you keep it, where does it live, deciding the quantity of items that you have so that they can easily all be stored where you want to store them. Okay? So notice this. Yeah. Alrighty, Amy. I'm glad you came across this. I'll introduce myself. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives. We do declutter parties. We've got one coming up at 9 a.m. Nobody has signed up yet, though, and that's cool. If you don't want to sign up, that's fine. I can use the time on my own. But if you want to join in, you can. There is a mailing list where you get notified of when I'm going to be, there's a schedule of when I'm going to be live. I do one-on-one coaching. I do. That's how I make my livelihood. My coaching calendar will open up next month for people who want to start declutter coaching in the beginning of the new year. So that's coming up. If you like what you're hearing, you can follow me here on TikTok, but the best thing to do is to share your email address with me on the form on my website. That way you have access to a page on the internet that shows you when I'm going to sign up. So like today, for example, I had an 8 a.m. TikTok live. My TikTok lives usually go for an hour. They usually start at the top of the hour, as we would say in college radio biz back in the 80s. But they go for an hour starting at the top of the hour. But on different days of the week, they're different times because I have a flexible schedule and I love a flexible schedule. But I have a published schedule of when that these happen, so you can tune in, okay? So where were we? I think we were taking some sweatshirts out of a drawer. So decluttering is deciding. And this to me is where it goes into the life coach stuff too. Because deciding what you want in your life is the way you get that is by decluttering, by letting go of what you don't want, okay? By saying, yes, I want to keep this sweatshirt. No, I don't need to keep that one. How many sweatshirts do I really need? How often do I wear a sweatshirt? Do these sweatshirts easily fit in this one drawer? Is that sweatshirt more of a, so again, I don't want to overwhelm you with the questions, but, having some questions in your head and then listening for your answers, not with judgment. We don't do judgment. We do a lot of opposites here. Not judgment. We do curiosity. Curiosity, not judgment. Okay, we chunk things down. There we go. Abbott Elementary. I love it. She was overwhelmed and light bulb moment. She says, yay, I found my missing earbud in the pocket of pants I picked up for laundry. Yes. Very cool. Now, oftentimes, clutter is a quantity issue. Is that you have, and this is where I kind of use like the, your body is kind of like you don't have enough, you feel hungry. You feel too much, you're in over your head. But feeling right, yeah, feeling right. I would say, Kathy, and so feeling right with the quantity and quality of what you have, chef's kiss, okay? User 8025 says, where do I sign up? Go to my website, because I probably forgot to mention it, destinationdecluttered.com, Destination Decluttered, it's all one word, .com. Scroll to the bottom of the homepage, share your email address, hit join. You will be sent an automatic email that has a link to a secret page that has the TikTok and YouTube live schedule on it. Now, the schedule for this week, I will be honest with you, it's only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because Thursday is Thanksgiving and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. I might do some pop-ups. We'll see. Okay? But destinationdecluttered.com is my website. That's where also you can find out about my coaching. There's also actually, if you want to see, if you're only tuning in now and you've never seen one of my lives before, I have been recording my lives for years. There are 902 of them. I just checked on Destination Decluttered at my Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay, so this TikTok live that I'm doing right now, I will declutter and put over here on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Okay, now, yeah. Now I love this because Kathy, actually, I'll do this real quick. Ellen says, I've been thinking, how long will this really take? And then do the action. Thanks for that tip. And you know what? I will totally, yay, Ellen. And I will totally give, I think it's Christy Newwertson. She's the woman who wears the sunglasses and says, how long will it really take? She's awesome. I love her stuff. I love her stuff. That is good stuff because our brains are drama queens. Oh my God, this is going to take forever. Oh yeah? Let's see how long forever is. You time yourself. Yeah, that took about 32 minutes. Do you want to be a drama queen? Or would you rather be the queen of no big deal, as I like to say? Like, no big deal. It took me like 37 minutes. Now, Kathy is saying, I have a favorite doll from childhood that is missing her lower half. I need to let her go. How? And I would say this, Kathy, because I recently, this weekend, got rid of some things that I had hanging around my life for years. I would say this, with love and kindness, but a good feeling in your heart. Give her a nice burial. Love her. Wrap her in like a little paper towel or something. Send her off, and send her off with love in your heart. Okay? Yeah. So, do it to feel good for yourself. I dismantled a piece of artwork that has been hanging around my life since the 70s. I don't like it. Never did. And you know what I did? I took it out of the frame. I lovingly said, that is awesome. And I crumpled it up. And look, I have lived to survive. And here's the thing I will share with you, Kathy, is that one of the reasons I did this wasn't just for myself, because I didn't want to hang it in my house and nobody in the family did. I am doing this for future generations. When we were cleaning out my parents' house, they had a house on Cape Cod. I came across something shoved up in the eaves that I know damn well was a toy that my mother had. My mother is going to be 85 next year. A toy my mother had growing up. And I lovingly put that in the trash because it was ratty. So that nobody else, so that the buck stops here as far as keeping stuff that you don't want. You know, now, if my mother really wanted it, she might still have it like on her bed or whatever. But notice you can have feelings that make it kind of tension. There's a little bit of tension to throw it away. I feel bad. That is my doll from childhood. Yeah. Okay. So Melly says, okay, so switching gears. So just remember, you will have, and again, this is surface stored sentimental clutter. Sentimental clutter is the stuff that tells you and other people's stories. I have been living in that for the past couple of weeks. I have survived, and I am telling you, I have more of a sense of lightness and freedom and flexibility and quiet than I have in years, because I have been able to let go of stuff that physically, I was dragging around pounds and pounds of stuff. Now I don't have that anymore. I kept the right amount, okay? So Mel says, I routinely underestimate how long it takes me to do something, then get decision paralysis starting. Okay, so this is what I would do then. I would start with the opposite, okay? I would overestimate. The next time you're going to do something, Mel, if you know that your brain, the way it tells time is it thinks it's only going to take 5 minutes, but it takes 20. Know that when you're starting, and give yourself double the amount of time on your calendar to do something, but then chunk down to get started, okay? Chunk down to get started. Decision paralysis, probably, oh my God, it's going to take forever. I don't know how long it's going to take, but let's find out. Let's time myself. I gave myself 2 hours to do it. Let's see how long it takes. Just because you give yourself 2 hours to do it doesn't mean it has to take 2 hours. If anything, you give yourself the time to do it, then you get started, and then if you start something, you're going to be closer to finished just from having started. Now, I'd be curious where your decision paralysis goes. And I'm here to help you, seriously. But get really curious, because this is what I find. Again, decluttering life coach here is you can be sitting there knowing up here, I really should be doing that laundry. But then there's another voice. Yeah. Little voice that says, it's going to take too long. Oh, I don't feel like it. Listen for that little voice that's saying no, and then get curious about it, because that's what's stopping you. Okay? Yeah, that's what's stopping you. Alrighty. So, Just Angela is doing a massive clean out. Grief is hard, but it's time. Trying to work around the mess. Okay? So I will say this, part of decluttering, just so everybody knows, when you are decluttering, you will temporarily be making a mess. When I was sitting on the floor of this room right here this weekend with totes that I had lugged around with papers and photos for decades, and I had one opened and I was surrounded by opened totes and piles around me, and then I creakily got up because I had to go to use the bathroom, and then I'm kind of groaning because my hips hurt because I'm going down the street. And I come back, I'm like, whoa, that's a mess. I'm here to take the drama out of that. That is a step in the process. There's nothing wrong with it. You need to temporarily make a mess because you need to see what you have. You need to spread out what you have so you can categorize it so that you can see what you have. It is part of it. Don't be afraid that you did something wrong if you've temporarily made a mess. Okay? Yeah. So just please know that that is part of the decluttering process. Okay? And Bobby Dugas says sentimental stuff definitely takes longer because you start finding things and your heart goes, wow, hell yeah, 100%. That's why I save that for last when people are just starting to declutter, because you need practice with the surface and the stored so that you build up that kind of familiarity with the process of doing the decluttering of the kitchen table, and then the laundry, and then the stored clutter, and then the mugs in the cabinet and things like that before you start getting your heart involved. Because when you involve your heart, your feelings, that introduces a new layer. Okay? That's why we go surface, stored, sentimental. Yeah. Now, Just Angela, oh my God, you think you have really cool stuff? Oh my God, I'm very distracted while finding it again. I was too, but I realized, why did I save this? So I could look at it and tell myself the story of, I had some pretty cool stuff. And what I found when I was going through my sentimental things is I did not need the quantity of items that I currently had to effectively tell myself the story of this is who I was at this time. I did not need all of the magazines that I was published in. I just needed the cover and I didn't even need it. I wanted the cover and the article. I didn't need to keep the whole thing. So notice, even if you have cool stuff, did I need to keep an example of every ad I ever created for Newbury Comics circa 1991? No. So I kept one or two. I don't keep the whole thing. I also many times had multiples of the same thing. Going through family photos, I'm realizing, oh my gosh, this must have been when they used to give you doubles, right? So notice that. You can have lots of cool stuff. So go through it and play with it and remind yourself of this and then put it away. The good stuff isn't clutter. The stuff that's clutter is the stuff that feels like it's too much. Okay? Now I'm going to sign off right now. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching here on TikTok, on YouTube, and on the internet is called Destination Decluttered. I will be doing a TikTok live and a YouTube live tomorrow. And I think a TikTok live, let me check the calendar here. And a TikTok live on Wednesday, because then I start for Thanksgiving and stuff like that. I will be updating the calendar for December. And those of you who have given me your email address, I will email you to let you know when that's happened, okay? If you haven't, however, and you're curious about when I'm going to show up live on the TikToks or the YouTubes or whatnot, destinationdecluttered.com is my website. Sign up, join me, give me your email address, and I'll send you some good stuff, mainly access to a page that I update quite often. All right, have a good day, everybody. So good to see you, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop, okay?